Okay, sorry. There were videos on there from like September and it looks so warm and it makes me so sad. Okay. All right, so where were we? Okay, so you're just explaining, summarizing about how the baby's fur, not waterproof, soaks up the water, so they had to go hide under the hedge to stay warm. And then you're going to point out that little rat from the picture who it looks like he didn't make it in quick enough. It looks like his fur got fully soaked because you can see it's kind of matted down and he has drops of water falling off of his little face and he's using his paws to kind of wipe off the water from his face. And so since he was out there longer, his fur got a lot wetter than the rabbit's, so he's much more soaked than they are. So it might be a little bit uncomfortable for these animals when they get wet and they get cold, but the fur will dry by itself. Eventually the water goes up into the air and it evaporates and then they'll be dry again. So think about like when you take a bath at night and maybe when you get your hair washed or something. Afterwards, maybe your family will like rub your wet hair down with a towel just to kind of get some of the water out. And it'll still be a little damp after that, but then the rest of it dries into the air and then you have dry hair a couple hours later. Well, the mommy rabbit can't use a towel or anything like that, so however much they get wet, it just kind of has to air dry and evaporate. So that's why she kind of wants to avoid them getting wet in the first place. So the fur is kind of like a washcloth, so it's soft. It's not hard, so it's not slick like if you think of like a raincoat or boots or an umbrella. Those things are really slick and they repel water, so they push the water away. But a washcloth is the opposite of that, so it soak up water because it's soft and absorbent. So if the cloth was to be outside when it was raining or something like that, it would soak up all of the water. So if I spray it with a spray bottle, you can see the water doesn't come off. It's just soaked right into this. So now this is kind of damp and wet. I didn't spray it a ton, so it's not soaking, but it's just a little bit damp. So all of the little bit of water I squirted on here absorbed. And then you're going to have a bowl of water. I didn't do this, but pretend this is full of water. So if the water, or this is my Monday, friends. If the washcloth was out in the rain for a long time, it would get totally soaked. So you're just going to push it into the water and make sure it absorbs some water. And then when you lift it up, you can see all of the water dropping off. So the towel soaked up all of the water that it could, and then the rest of it is just kind of dripping off. And this is where I wanted to give you guys the option. So instead of doing the washcloth, or you could do it in addition to it if you want to like, trying to decide, because I think this is more exciting. Maybe cut down on what you talk about the rabbits being their fur not being water resistant or whatever. So maybe just like make that a little more concise, and then maybe you could do the washcloth and show them. Yeah, sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. Okay, so yeah, so let's do this. So start by asking the kids what they think will happen when you put the washcloth in the water. Do they think it's going to repel the water or soak up and absorb the water? And then after you do that, just to kind of give them a base idea of what happens with washcloths in the water, I bought you guys a bunch of these little things. They're like they're towels, little washcloths, but they're the kind that when you put them in the water, they expand. So I got you guys each one of these. So once you show them a regular washcloth, tell them that this is like a little magical washcloth, because that's the name of it, magical towel. And you ask them what they think is going to happen when you put this in water. And so you can put it in the water and show them how it right now beforehand, it was very dry and like squished up, but then when you put it in the water, it absorbs all the water and expands. Okay. That was lengthy, I'm sorry guys. Okay, so for the small group part, this is where you're testing different materials to see what repels water and what absorbs water. So you want something that's plastic, that's going to repel water really well. So I would say pour it on top of a Lego, or you can even do like a piece of lamination film that you put on top of the Legos, because then it'll drip off. I've used a Ziploc bag before, so just get creative. Basically all you need is a plastic surface that you can show them when you drip water onto it. It repels or just slides right off. So you can use, each of your core members can use one of these. I have a ton of them, so there's plenty for everyone. It's in the back room. So test it on that, and then I put little sponge squares in each of your bins. So the core member can have that, it's like a square of a sponge, and ask the kids what they think is going to happen if you spray the sponge with water. Will absorb the water. And I put a tray in each of your bins. It's like I think it's more of like a brownie tray, not like a cookie sheet. So instead of using one of these, you can use that. And then each core member, maybe, I have more trays, but just make sure that you have something that can like contain the water, so it's not everywhere. Okay, and then after they get to test all of the different materials, you'll just come back and kind of summarize what they learned about the absorbency of materials, with like the coatings of animals. So like a dolphin has that kind of a coat that's similar to like the plastic or the Legos or something, where it's really, it really repels that water because the animal's living in water, so it has to repel it, and help keep some of that body warmth in. And then like a dog's coat would be more similar to the sponge, so it's not waterproof, so when a dog goes swimming or gets a bath or something, you'll see a dog like shake its body to get all the water off, because it gets soaked and its fur absorbs all the water. So you can tell the kids that they can continue to talk about weather and forecast the weather in dramatic play, and try on some clothes for different weathers. Okay. I think that's everything. Yeah, like I said, just remember that the tray, the sponges, and these are all in your bins, so take them, please.